Hi everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I'm here to talk to you about Weapons. This is the latest movie from director Zach Cregger, a guy who is really shown to be one of the really interesting voices in modern horror movies, but will always have a fan in me as being one of the boys from the Whitest Kids You Know comedy group. Just love those boys, R.I.P. Trevor Moore. Those guys got me through a lot of rough days in middle school. But right now, Cregger has he also played Abe Lincoln in that one sketch. You know the one. But right now, he is doing really well as a horror director who really shown that he had the chops with his 2022 surprise smash, totally out of left field movie, Barbarian. Which, if you haven't seen it or don't really know what it's about, good. Keep it that way. Go into that movie blind, which I can also say for Weapons. You should also go into this movie completely blind. Really, and really gotta give credit to the marketing. They really outdone themselves with this one of just keeping things as in the dark as possible. And all you really need to know about before you go into this movie is just the premise, which is just on the poster, where last night, 2:17 a.m., every kid Mrs. Gandy's class all got out of bed, went downstairs, walked out the door, and into the dark, and they never came back. And that's such a creepy idea. That's such just and like you couple that with just the image of like the kids doing this like creepy Naruto run that's on the poster. That's all you need. Like I'm in the theater already, and I have to say, that's such a great way to like pull people in, and it's such a good thing that so many people are excited for an original horror title like this. And I gotta it does kind of make talking about it unspoilery tricky, because some of the issues I have with it kind of involve spoilers. But what I will say for a upfront, this movie is a total ride. If you are really into movies that have like great suspense, if you love something that, and like Barbarian, Cregger is doing a lot to like give you a lot of surprises, and in ways that really are like really play well for audiences. I think if you watch Weapons in an audience, you'll really get the most out of it. And it's a lot of fun. It's funnier than you think it is. Like sometimes he does he's really shown he has a knack for doing like bringing the suspense and like maintaining a feeling of suspense even while he's making you laugh, and it's really fun. Some of the best, funniest, and scariest moments are from Barbarian, and he maintains some of that energy here. But I think that this is at one point a more ambitious movie from Barbarian, and also something of a step down in terms of the storycraft that he's doing here. But I should say on the technical end, I have no complaints here. I think he's really shown, again, really maintaining those chops. He knows how to really give great performances out of a really bevy of a cast. All the actors do great work. The sound design is really wonderful. There's a legitimately like goosebump-inducing imagery here, and there's really evocative imagery here too. And it's all like very well done horror stuff, and I think that sort of leads into like where I am at this movie. I'm in a bit of a weird place with it, because this is a movie that already people are having like a lot of like sort of like interesting ideas about it, and like things that they read into it. Like one of the things so far I've been seeing is people are like saying that this is like a big metaphor for school shootings, and I can see where that is, and it's certainly sort of an easy thing to like conclude, given that it's like it's very much about this. It's set in a very idyllic seeming American suburb. They're all just sort of their sense of safety is crumbling in the wake of this like just unexplainable tragedy, and like the kids that involves a school, a classroom of children. It's called Weapons. It's easy to connect those dots. But Cregger himself has been very distant about that. He's very sort of eschewed any like a hard symbolic meaning and interpretations to it, and he reads it as much more of a personal story. I've also seen some like comparisons to Magnolia, given that it's a story that involves that we follow an ensemble of characters and follow from their perspectives in these like named chapters after them. But honestly, I see a little bit more Stephen King in this, given that it does a lot of like revealing that like hidden, somewhat supernatural kind of fairy tale rot. The supernatural suburban fairy tale rot underneath it. Honestly, in some ways, a little better than straight up King adaptations. But I also think that certain King stories, after it does such great work with character and motivations and the general mystery and just feelings of like what the fuck is going on kind of thing, great stuff, it kind of peters out of that and sort of just elaborates it. Once we get to where the mystery happens, it feels like kind of a letdown. And to be fair, I feel like any explanation to what this mystery is would feel like kind of would almost feel like a letdown, because like that hook is just so good. Like you're constantly wondering like what is happening, especially in that first like third, I would say, where we're mostly following the teacher in a really extended first act, I would say, where we're just kind of seeing how she reacts and how everyone in her community reacts. And I also really love the character stuff that she does, and she's played wonderfully by Julia Garner. She gets a really nice meaty character work where she's not always and she's not an innocent person. I like that she's a messy person. She's kind of a bit self-destructive, and she's honestly does some unlikable things in this, which I think is very interesting. And the way that she interacts with Josh Brolin's character is leads to a lot of great stuff. And he does really good work too. There's also Alden Ehrenreich as this bozo cop, and Benedict Wong is here too. He does really good stuff with his face in this. Can't say more than that. But honestly, my main issue with this movie is kind of with that structure where it does so much good with maintaining this like genuinely compelling work with the characters, and it's like giving good stuff with like we'll be following one character, and then it'll stop and we'll smash to like another one's perspective, and then seeing how those interact kind of gives you those great aha moments of like, oh, that's that's what explains that, because like sometimes it'll like just leave off in this feeling of like what where's this going, but then it'll eventually sort of have this come to I'm really writing with this movie up to a point where it kind of it'll do this, like it'll do again similar to what Cregger's shown to do before, where it'll like do almost like a complete like 180 in terms of like the kind of genre that it is, and it'll have all this great suspense and build up, even like often very funny moments, even when it's like really creepy, but then it'll like sort of like show the hand that it's playing, and the explanation honestly feels a bit too simple. Like, oh, is that it? Kind of like that. That's kind of the feeling I was having, and as it kind of it loses a lot, and like in its last third, it's like over detailing its like this like stretch of plot. It feels like it just loses a lot of that suspense and a lot of the momentum too, and which is kind of a shame. That's not for lack of trying, that it's like still like trying to do stuff. It has a lot of like peaks even in this like this back end that I felt like didn't really like gel well, like with that I didn't think gelled well with what it was doing beforehand. Like if I could compare it to Barbarian in the same sense, where there was like a top and a bottom aspect. Uh, uh, there's like a top level and a bottom level to what it was doing, both thematically and in genre and tone in Barbarian. That even though things felt a little, even though things didn't always come together the cleanest way, it still felt resolute in like these things still matched well enough that it made the experience and the entire package really like still hit. And with Weapons, I feel like these two didn't really have like it felt like one didn't really match with what the other one was doing, and again like again that's not to say that there isn't like it's not a total wash. Like there's still really great stuff with all of the performances are like really going for it. There again like some great camera work here, even in that back third, which is a real it really ends in a really fun place. This movie's really fun when even fun. I also like really like how eerie it can be. There's a great George Harrison needle drop early on that's pretty good. Like really good. That's it really hooks me in. But I feel like it just sort of lost its way a little bit by the end, and I feel again even with the character stuff, like it's doing all of this stuff, but it doesn't really resolve any of the stuff like with how Julie Garner's character, she's like trying and failing to like kind of cope with what's going on, and it's like the how her plotline resolves, how like where her plotline ends up, it doesn't quite feel like she resolved anything, and even how the movie ends, it sort of just stops. Kind of leaves me in an unsatisfied place. But even while I was thinking about that, and I've been thinking about this for a while, it sort of feels very much like the point that, or at least a point that Cregger was going for, and especially which sort of offsets it from what sort of sets it apart from other modern horrors. Like as much as I've been loving a lot of what modern horror movies have been doing, even the sort of capital EH elevated horror, where like this movie is a big metaphor for this, and there's no real other room for interpretation. Here, you could kind of see this is sort of like if like these other horror movies are like sort of like the Twilight Zone episodes, where it's like this is like sort of the message of the movie, the moral to be learned. Weapons, I guess, in the sense, is like the Twilight Zone episodes, where it's like, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if there was like a thing on the side of the plane? Man, that was crazy. Anyway, I'm Rod Serling, and like that's both if I'm making sense of things, but to make better sense of what I'm getting at, let's go back to the way people then see it as a metaphor for school shootings. Like, what do school shootings bring communities like this? like just name, God, so many names you could just list off. Columbine, Sandy Hook, God, Uvalde, God. What do these tragedies bring? But people just looking for answers. Like people like really want to just make sense of things. Like maybe they maybe they just drink and just turn to substance abuse to try to cope with it. Maybe people just fall to despair and depression. Some get more obsessive in like their demand for making sense of the what can't be really reconciled, and or maybe people just get even more further paranoid and they lash out violently. But at the end of the day, it feels. But at the end of it all, it feels like it just there's nothing to learn. Like they're just asking like, what can we learn from this? What sense can we make of this pain, of this trauma? And and in a way, there's maybe nothing to learn. Maybe nothing you can learn. And I think that's interesting. At least in the sense of like the thematic sense of what I'm getting out of the movie, which I think is really sort of buoying the sort of the dissatisfied feeling I'm having about its like plot, about it like its plot structure, because like there's good strength like like it's frustrating me because like there's a stretch in the middle that's really good, but in the sense of like where it takes the characters that involve this stretch, they just feel like it's just keeping these like suspenseful plot details at bay until the honestly over-explained and kind of simple answer to the mystery is it happens, and it feels like it feels unsatisfying in that sense. But all that being said, again, it's not a total wash. I really enjoyed watching this movie, despite my frustrations with it. I love a lot of what it was doing. Again, all the performances are great. All the technicals really work. Love a lot of the imagery in this, even the very more pointedly evocative imagery. Which there is one in the movie that's very much that really does feel like it's. You could say it's like begging to be interpreted or like explained, or like it's just like another mystery on top of that. Just like what could this mean? But Cregger's just like, nah, I just put it in there because I thought it was cool. If you've seen it, you might know what I'm talking about. Again, I'm dancing around a lot of things, but I do have to say there's like really good performances here. There's a lot of fun to be had. This is a good movie, I think. I just hoped it would be a great one, but that's kind of how I'm feeling. I really don't know how this movie would play on a rewatch. But for now, I'm feeling a light to decent 7. I think this is still really worth recommending. I think it's still very worth the seeing. Again, try to see this in a crowd. You'll probably really get something good out of that if you do. And yeah, I'm interested in seeing what people say about this. I'm seeing how people react to this, and I'm really rooting for Zach Cregger. Because this looks like it might be a hit. This I think his career is looking pretty strong so far. Can't wait to see what he does next. However it may be. Also, I hope he puts Justin Law in the next one. And yeah, I think that's all I got right now. At least as much as I've danced around spoiler details. But what did you think of Weapons? What are you feeling on it? What do you get out of it? If there was anything to get out of the movie, and yeah, I think that's it. I'm Zach. I like movies. I got a whole bunch more movies to watch, and I hope you do too. And I hope you watch Weapons. Hope you have fun, and keep watching movies because movies are great, and They're worth watching, and they make life worth living. And I will see you all in the next time.